Internal structure of the heart. Atria. They are the anterior chambers of the heart. They are separated from each other by a thin interatrial septum. In the fetal stage, this septum has small pore called foramen oval. When lungs become functional, foramen oval becomes closed, leaving a depression known as fossa ovalis. If foramen oval does not close properly, it is called patent foramen oval. The right atrium is larger than the left and receives deoxygenated blood from different parts of the body, except lungs, through two major veins called precaval vein and the postcaval vein. The opening of postcaval vein is guarded by the valve of inferior vena cava, which is also called eustachian valve. It is non-functional in adult. In embryonic stage, it directs the blood from postcaval vein into the left atrium through foramen oval. Blood from the wall of heart is turned into the right atrium through a coronary sinus, whose opening is guarded by the valve of Thebatius. Left atrium receives oxygenated blood from each lungs through a pair of pulmonary veins which opens into the left atrium through a common pore not guarded by any valve. Atria and ventricles are separated by a atrioventricular septum. Right atrium opens into the right ventricle through right atrioventricular aperture. It is guarded by a tricuspid valve. Left atrium opens into the left ventricle through left atrioventricular aperture. It is guarded by bicuspid valve or mitral valve. Then coming to ventricles. These are two ventricles, left and right, which forms the posterior part of the heart. They are separated from each other by an interventricular septum. Left ventricle is larger than the right. Wall of ventricles is thick and is highly muscular. The wall of the left ventricle is thicker than the top right ventricle. The inner surface of ventricles is raised into muscular ridges called columnicornae. Some of these ridges are large and conical and are called papillary muscles. Extending between atrioventricular valves and papillary muscles are tendon-like cords called chordae tendineae. They prevent the cusps of atrioventricular valves (AV valves) from bulging too far into the atrium. Then coming to nodal tissue. It is specialized cardiac musculature, SAN, sinoatrial node. This is SA node is modified cardiac tissue. It is present in the right upper corner of right atrium near the opening of superior vena cava. It is also called pacemaker. AV node, atrioventricular node, is another mass of cardiac tissue which is present in the lower left of the right atrium. It acts as a relay point, atrioventricular bundle or AV bundle, or it is also called His bundle. continues from the AV node into the ventricular septum. It is divided into right and left ventricular branches. These branches give rise to minute fibers called Purkinje fibers, which spread throughout the walls of the respective sites.